Well, what is up, everybody? What is the word? Hope everybody's having a great Saturday. Rockaway says, Adam said that last night something about the PC affidavit. It's all CYA for Carroll County for blowing the investigation. I thought the affidavit was sealed. What's up, TTM? Happy Saturday. Thank you for that. If anybody wants to call in, 928-476-0112. Or you can hit that link and you can join me on screen. Whatever you prefer. Miss E, I like that. Nadia, I'm well, thank you. Micah David, hello. Hey, Glitter. Tom. Hug 'em, chug 'em. Frank, what's up? Melinda Mystery, hello. Sup, goat? Charlie. What's up, Shauna? What's up, Bill? How you doing? Volume's too low? Is that better? Kind of had the mic. Mic wasn't very close. Oh, you might be left-handed, huh? That's interesting. Hey, Teresa, good to see you. Hello, Lisa. Good question. What does CYA stand for? Regards to an earlier comment. Yeah, I think it's definitely there. Definitely a connection, in my opinion. Cover your assets. Okay. Cover your asses. I guess we'll know soon enough. I guess in regards to the Delphi case, we got to play the waiting game. Oh, wow. 2 inches of snow. That sounds like fun. Hey, Digital. Freckled Joy, Rockaway. Good to see you guys. Not sure. So we have somebody trying to join right now, but for whatever reason, it says your device is not connected. Not sure what that means, but it will not allow you to join. So you might have to jump out and try to jump back in if you can. Hey, Miss Thang. Snow and cold. Rhonda True says, I am left handed, the only one in my whole family. Wow. That's interesting. Even your grandparents? I like Johnny Cash. Yeah, Frank, we'll be tuning in, man. If you're going to be putting out that information, we'll be keeping an eye on it. Yeah, we took a road trip. We went up north and we saw some snow. Went to uh, one of their local deer farms. Hung out there for a while. It was really fun. It's a nice long road trip. What's up, Sensei? Good to see you. You guys are getting hit with some snow. Forever Young. I hate snow. Only young people like snow because it doesn't hurt their bones and they can go play around in it. Glitter, you're a lefty? All right. If you're left handed, put a 1 in the comments. Got a room full of left handers. Oh, yeah, Shauna, that was you, huh? That's because my internet connection is being stupid. If you want, hit star 6 7, I think it is, on your phone and call that number. I'll put you right on the air. If you don't want to share any of your information, that is. Otherwise, just call right in. I think star 6 7, right, guys? I think that's how you can block your number that way. But yeah, that goes for anybody. If you want to call in, 928-476-0112. All these crazy left-handed people. I swear they're trying to take over the world. Look at this. Got to rise up, right-handers. Shauna says it was about 70, about 4 a.m. now. It's 40 here in Louisiana. That is pretty chilly. It's about what it was up north. It would fluctuate between like 35 and 40, depending on where we were at, or what time of day, really. Greek. Shout out to the Greeks. Hey, Susan. It was 75 2 days ago, 30s and snow today. Oh, wow. It's like no warning there. What about known associates? Does anybody know any men who Richard Allen was friends with? I've been searching. I really haven't. And he seems to be like he's been married for a long time. I think right out of high school, even, if I'm not mistaken. You guys feel free to correct me. So I think we should expect some more information about that in the future or when the court proceedings start to roll out. So any discussion or theorizing with the Delphi case, it's just all part of the waiting game, really. Got to try to find productive ways of being patient. It's not easy. Freckle Joy says, I prefer my snow in the mountains, but not on my driveway. That's why I love Los Angeles. Snow, I don't know. It's just kind of dangerous. It's not fun to drive in. That much I do know. Kimmy's in southern Ontario. We don't get all that much snow nowadays. In the 1970s, we would have several feet of snow on the ground all winter. Yeah, Indiana seems like one of those states where it's cold all the time. Yeah, there's got to be something going on, Kimmy, with this Richard Allen guy. I mean, we were talking with analysis of a crime with CD, and he has a lot of experience, ex law enforcement. He seems to think this was just some kind of like random event. And if you, from what we gathered from his wife's Facebook, if you look at it, I mean, he seems normal up until a certain point. And then from that point, he just falls apart. He looks just different. You guys agree with me on that part? I don't know, Janice. Does anybody know if Richard Allen's wife is sticking by him or not? Really, all we have to go on is, I think, that letter. And from what I read in that letter, it doesn't look like it. Hey, D. D says they were both 19 when they married. That's what I thought. Like high school, right out of high school or something. So I'm very curious to see how that all is going to unfold, all that information. Shauna says, laugh out loud, thank you. I have no information. Just curious what you think about any connection to Evansdale if they were there. I don't. The Evansdale case is piques my curiosity. It always has. I've always felt that there were similarities. Um, two girls, two young girls. I know it's just very strange, and not to mention the locations are really not that far apart, really. So either way, I mean, Evansdale is it's almost like um, its own monster of a case, just like Delphi. It just hasn't received that much attention. And I remember watching one of the latest, and it wasn't even really a presser. It was just kind of like a I don't know. I think a local news station had dedicated like a whole 15 minutes to covering just the Evansdale case. And one of the investigators mentioned they only received like 20,000 tips. And this case is a few years older than the Delphi case. And we know from the most recent presser with the Delphi case, it was like over 70,000 tips that they received. So, but then again, I think a lot of what's going on with the allure or the lure with Delphi is, that video. You got that guy, which could be this Richard Allen guy. We don't know yet. They're gonna hopefully he'll just come and tell us, everything that happened. But that could be him. I mean, it looks a lot like him, but honestly, you can't say for 100% like, yep, that's him, And I think that's been part of the problem, but I think that's what draws people in is that video, and then you got that really creepy audio, down the hill. It's like, oh man. Curious people, that's like a feather to a cat. Oh, we got a super chat here from Tom. Let's put that up on the screen. Oh, and a new member. Hey, Shauna, welcome. Tom says, I think the new info given to Murder Sheet is still more of the deterrence from law enforcement. That's weird. That should be coming through that. Hold on, guys.
Call from Amy Lowe. To accept, press 1. To send a voice. Call from Amy Lowe. To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Amy, can you turn that down in the background?
Yeah. Is that better?
Yeah, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
First time caller.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. What's going on? What's on your mind?
Well, I have a couple of data points that might be of interest that very few people have seen, and the first one is a video that I came across last night, and it's from a news report the night of when they went missing, when the girls went missing. And it's a very short video, and I'll send a link, or you can look at it. It's like 2 or 3 minutes, but it is fascinating because what it shows is the news people at the police station, with the story, it's local news channel, and a man walking out with some police officers. And I swear to God, it's really, I think it's Richard Allen. The height is the same. The clothes are the same. The walk is the same. You see him from the back. I watched it several times and compared it to Bridge Guy, and it was very, very interesting. I mean, don't know for sure, obviously, but I think everyone should check it out. And it's on an obscure YouTube channel that's the only video on it. So not many people have seen it. So I don't know if you all want to see it, but it's the name of the channel is Delphi Today. It's only 2 minutes. I think y'all should check it out. And then we can discuss it because I have it brings up a lot of interesting points.
We've covered that here on my channel. I have it actually posted on. It's on one of my shorts. If you guys want to go look at it, it's a short video. Because I was curious who it was, the timing of the report. They were there from like 3 a.m. all morning long. So that was some rare footage that only one news agency was able to capture. So I thought it was interesting to kind of take a closer look at who was coming and going out of that police station and who was part of the search that early on. And there was that guy who came walking out with this hoodie, but if you look closely, he even looks like he has a holstered weapon. So I figured
Richard Allen has a concealed carry permit, doesn't he?
I'm not sure.
I've heard that from several. Well, how you hear things.
But if you want my personal opinion, no, I do not think that that's him.
Gotcha. Well, I found that interesting. He just looked like the walk and the height. I just yeah, okay. And then the second point, there was a very interesting post from, I think it's called Southern Lawyer last night, about the charge and the definition of. I mean, you may have covered this too. Who knows? But the definition of felony murder, and that it's not what people think, and that it is usually used when they don't think that the person was the actual killer. But and he went through and explained the whole statute and the law and brought up all this interesting information.
Oh, kind of
So to
saying
me,
that you're going to get the same charge, but you may have not been hands on, but you were just as much equally
right,
responsible or a participant.
exactly, and he went through and theorized with the reasons for why that may be why he was charged that way, and it was interesting. It's longer, it's like 25 minutes, but it was
Southern Lawyer.
interesting. I think it's Southern Lawyer. Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can.
That's interesting. I would like to take a look. I have looked at that, but I haven't confirmed
He
any
just
of that
posted it
information.
last night, and it was really good. Let's see, Southern Law. That's the name of his channel.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely.
Did I lose?
No, I'm here. I'm just writing it down. I want to take a look later on
Yeah,
at some point.
Southern Law. So it was the best analysis of that.
So, well,
on the face of it, it looks like he is accused of actually pulling the trigger or using the knife or whatever, but he explained that was not the case.
So, I mean, it sounds like you might have some theories or something. Are you trying to investigate or trying to put together a good theory? What are your thoughts?
I'm very open-minded, and I'm, I think it points to another person involved, or as he said in that video, that they may not have enough to directly connect him to the actual killing, but enough to, they have the video.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying they
so
may not have 100% proof, but they're going to go for it, and they might have they think they have enough to finally at least go to trial and try to get a conviction.
Yeah, because if they went on just the first just regular murder, that would indicate, they would have to have, the defense attorney could attack that if they didn't have real direct connection. So it may be a conscious decision on the part of the district attorney to avoid losing the case.
Okay. What do you think? Maybe a little bit of political pressure might have just been, maybe not the whole motivation, but maybe just like a little push.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I don't know. I mean, I haven't thought too much about the political aspects.
Just the timing makes me wonder.
Yeah, I don't know. Watch that video. It's worth a watch because it's you have everybody talking about it, but to hear it from an actual attorney that understands,
somebody that actually knows what they're talking about. Yeah.
Right.
Trust me, I agree with that 100%, and I will look at that for sure. I promise.
I've gone back and forth with the someone else involved, not involved, and and all the cryptic.
Well, it's got to be planned, the name of the right? Guy, I mean, how does this guy just walk? He's just walking out there. He's just like, okay, I'm going to choose to kill these two girls. I mean, he had to plan it, right?
Yeah, it had to have been planned and premeditated. There was a plan. You can see he has some kind of, murder kit or whatever you want to call it. I mean, there's so much bulky stuff.
Well, I wouldn't go as far as say he has a murder kit, but he's got something on. Like he looks like he's got some gear.
Yeah,
some kind of weapon or something. Yeah, for sure. There's something there.
And the way his coat is all, I don't know, speculation, of course.
Like layers. He's got a few layers.
I'm convinced this guy was in this area a lot. Now, he could have been hunting, but if he was a soul killer, but when you go hunting, do you always take all your crap you're going to need for your crime with you? I mean, that's kind of a stretch.
Well, so I mean, fishing seems more appropriate for that theory. I mean, he could easily walk around. Now, if he was hunting and it's 2:30, he's up on the bridge with, all his hunting gear. That's
Yeah,
definitely not going to be expected. Usually when you're hunting, you
right.
go very early in the morning when it's still dark, and then it's daybreak and you're out there and you're even done before people start to wake up. So he now I don't know if he even was a fisherman. I'm not sure about that.
And one last thing, I'll let you go. Have you? I was just on this guy last night. He's a hacker, and he does. I think his last name's Voorhees, maybe Alex Voorhees. Have you looked at any of what he has to say?
Yeah, that stuff's very interesting. He works closely with a good friend of ours on this channel, which is Fig Solves. He has a video, I think, Criming Shame has recently worked
Yeah,
with Alex Voorhees. So, yeah, very interesting guy. I don't know what to make of it all. I don't really have an opinion about it, but interesting, indeed.
yeah. He was on Criming Shame last night, and as well as the. Have you watched any of these handwriting analysis shows? And
Yeah,
do you
there's
think
a.
it's pseudoscience, or do you think it's got some validity?
I mean, I think it is somewhat of a pseudoscience, but I think um, I think that it plays a part, but I also think that there's ways to manipulate it. I think it has a lot to do with maybe what's even going on that day, when you're writing it. I don't write the same. Do you all the time?
No, no. Yeah. It makes me what it created in me was I've got to look at my. I'm looking at my handwriting, going, "Wow, oh,
But I
that's
think what it
interesting."
is, I think where the training kicks in is that there might be certain things that never change with our
Right.
handwriting. You know what I mean? And it could say some things about us and why it doesn't change. So, like I said, I'm not an expert. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I just find all of that
Yeah,
interesting, and
very interesting.
I I, I have kind of a. If I'm talking too much, just tell me you got to go on
No,
the
you're
next
good. That's what
person.
we're doing. We're just hanging
I
out.
don't mind.
I didn't want to hear what everybody out there had to say, and you're out there, so I'm listening.
Cool, cool. I just forgot what I was going to say. Oh well.
Well, you were
Yeah, I
talking
just
about the hacking and all of that stuff, and the
yeah, the
handwriting.
hacking. Oh, I guess I was going to say I have this bad feeling, or I just have this feeling that when that document is released, that we're gonna know some stuff, but it's gonna maybe create more questions than answers. I'm not sure. I just feel like I don't know. I listened to Doug Carter. There's something going on. He's so cryptic, but he gives clues, and it's all going to make sense when it comes out. The way he spoke, and he's alluding to so many things, and it's like right there, like on the tip of my consciousness, is to
Yeah, because he
understand where he's going.
well, he made it seem as though he knew this person, like he almost knew him personally. Our last media comment from Doug was basically like, "Well, I know a lot more about him than I did, and tomorrow could be the day." It's like, okay, well, did you, Doug? Like, did you really know who this person was? Because if you put all the information that we know about Richard Allen and we go and listen to the 2019 presser, I mean, you might as well just put up a picture of him. It was like he was talking
Yeah.
right about this guy. So now, does the shack reference, does that mean anything? I know that Richard Allen lives right there by the church where they did the presser. So he says he's around. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's watching, but he's around. And he's right up the street.
Yeah, you wonder if he knew if they were on to Richard Allen and just didn't have the proof, or were just waiting, or I don't know. I
Search.
just feel like
It
there's
was there was some kind of
yeah,
device, and I think that's where the connection is. They were searching for something in that river, and once they got it, they could use all of the information that they already had. But what that wasn't enough for Robert Ives,
for a warrant
and it wasn't
before there
enough.
wasn't a warrant enough.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
think it was enough for
go
the
ahead.
prosecutor's office for a while, but whatever they got now, it's enough. And it was enough to go get the search warrant, and it was enough to find a whole lot of other stuff to where they came out publicly and said, "This is the guy. This is our killer." So, did Doug know that it was him the entire time? I think, yeah, I think the answer is yes.
could be. And then I feel like maybe this whole conceal, or what's the technical term for why they're not having the
The probable
document
cause,
release?
yeah, the probable cause
Yeah,
affidavit.
yeah, why they aren't releasing it. It feels to me like they're just waiting. They're putting heat, like it's a pressure thing to put heat on Alan to come forward and drop. I think Tony Klein. I think it has. I don't know. Tony Klein. Tony Klein just seems connected to this. I just can't imagine that he's not. He's just a brutal dude. But
Well, they made it seem like somebody else was using Kagan Klein's phones, not just one, multiple phones. They didn't think it was his neighbor, even though his neighbor lived like right next to him, was coming and going, doing drugs. They still said, no, we don't think it's this guy. And they were kind of hinting. And this person was around the age of 40 at the time. Somebody even used the name Adam at one point. They referred to themselves, hey, like a few years ago, I would have been 37. That would put them right at the age of 40. So somebody else, it seems like somebody, in fact, was using those devices. Um, did they finally show Kagan, like, here's the proof? And maybe he finally was able to start communicating with his lawyer. It sounded like there was a lot of communication going on between him and his lawyer at the time. He finally may have got some good advice and said, look, man, you got a lot of powerful information that could better your situation. You need to start using this information regardless of who it might impact, and start thinking about yourself, because that's what you do best. Like, start doing that. And these guys might have been trying to throw Kagan Klein to the wolves. Like, in private, they could have been telling Kagan, like, hey, you got to take the fall for this. I know it sucks,
right,
but keep your mouth shut. Like, you're going to be in there. They're going to feed you. I'll come visit you, but you're going to have to take the fall for this. Like, you understand that, right? And I think he was okay with that. He was like, yeah, I was bound to be in prison. I'm going to take the fall for it, whatever. But then his lawyer's like, dude, think about your future, you know?
right. He doesn't want. He doesn't want to roll on his dad. I'm sure he's scared to death of his dad, for one thing. I mean, even though he may love his dad, he's scared to death of him,
Yeah, because
for
I
sure.
really think that they told him at one point, like, hey, man, you might have to just take the fall for this, or, you're just going to have to stay on the front lines with this. Do not say anything. And him facing what, maybe a maximum of maybe 10, 15 years, time served, life of probation. To him, he could continue on with life. He could go move to another state. He could go
Yeah,
move to who knows, he could
yeah,
go some random place and people would forget about him.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. What Voorhees said last night just made me wonder, because he was saying that his analysis of the phone calls were that there was he thinks Tony Klein, and I shouldn't speak for him, but this was what I recall, that Tony Klein was probably using the same phone, but as far as other people accessing this porno, or this CP on the web, he didn't necessarily think that Richard Allen was connected. But so it sounds like phones, it's a phone thing, and burner phones maybe
Mm-hmm.
too.
Well,
I mean,
and well, you have
did
the
burner phones
Dropbox.
play into this?
You have the Dropbox account as well, because when they talk about the pedo ring, the largest ring, CSAM ring in Indiana
Right.
history, they don't say that they discovered that through the Anthony Shots profile. They say we discovered this through your Dropbox, because he's sharing
Ah,
links.
right.
He's sharing links with people similar to himself, fake accounts, and he admits in the transcript that he created the Emily Ann 45 account. He says it. It's as clear as
Yeah.
day. I created this. But he's also communicating with
Yeah.
other criminals who created their own similar profile, like this Hannah Rostel character. That's not a person. That's their version of the Emily Ann 45 profile. So him and people like that are sharing links on Dropbox. And whoever is on the other end of that link, if they can find any connection to that link, I think that's could be the killer. Something more closely along the lines of that. That's why they were searching in the river, I think. something where they can find GPS information, IP address information, anything like that, communication, anything. But whatever they were looking for, I think they found it.
I hope so, because I really wonder. I wonder about Keegan Klein, and I think that he's such a liar. He seems like the type of person that would make up stuff like there's stuff in the river just to
I don't think so.
manipulate. You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
You don't think he would just to get out of prison for a few
I'm
days?
not saying that I don't think he wouldn't do that. I don't think that he is doing that. Because the more I've read his interview transcripts so many freaking times, I can almost quote it
Yeah,
verbatim. What
yeah,
he is he's a bad liar. I thought potentially he was a good liar, maybe somebody who didn't care whether he was lying, whether he was believable or not, just as long as he wasn't snitching on the killer or somebody who could hurt him or his family.
uh-huh.
But the more and more I listen to him, I think there's a lot of this that he is unaware of. Like somebody really
Yeah. I
is
get that
using his
impression as
phone.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell just by his reactions in that transcript. Like certain things, yeah, you're right. He is a bad liar, and he that it seems like there are things he's unaware of. I would totally agree. I can't tell you specifically why I think that, but it's just a feeling that I get that he's like there are certain things that he's like, whoa, what? Like what happened?
Amy,
Like I don't know.
your name is Amy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Amy. It looks like Fig. He's just jumped into the chat, and he's kind of responding to some of the things you were talking about. He says here, and he actually works with Alex Voorhees. They've been communicating. So let's
Yeah.
listen to his response here. He says,
Do you want me to just hang up? Is that
"No,
what I need to do?
he's leaving a message for you here." He says, and I'm going to read it for you. Alex said that
Oh, okay.
others didn't use the Anthony Shots account, but were communicating with other pedos via Dropbox, Reddit, etc.
Okay. So does that mean? So did Alex look at? I'm wondering if Alex looked at the Dropbox and did what they do to back trace the Dropbox account, or did he just look at the phone and email?
Well, me personally, I'm assuming he used some type of tool and some software and just downloaded the information. I don't know. I don't know what he did. It sounds like he may
Yeah, I'm
have been
just
able
wondering
to.
how deep he went into that
Mhm.
Dropbox.
He says no.
I'm
He
really,
says no, but I mean, honestly, me personally, I think I would have taken somewhat of a gander, you know.
yeah, I really commend people like Alex that do that. It's got to be so difficult to. I mean, it's great that he's using his skills, but it's got to be so difficult to to come across and have to witness those things. I would think it would be such a
Mhm.
burnout. Like it would just be rough to see. And same with the police, of course. I'm really impressed with how many.
Call from
Rich.
to accept, press
I'm
2.
wondering how much the civilian impact
To
is going
accept,
to be.
press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Am I still on?
Yeah, hold on, Amy. Hello, Rich.
Yes, sir.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. We're just gonna finish here. Let Amy have finish her thought.
Yeah. I'll hold on.
And then I'll
Sure.
jump on with you. Continue, Amy. Sorry
Thank
about
you.
that.
Yeah, no, I'll let you go. I just was just saying I was just really impressed with people like Alex from witnessing him last night and what he must have to come across in order to do the work he does. It's impressive, and it takes courage.
Yeah,
and
I agree. Go ahead.
and how much of the solving of cases is helped by us, non-professionals out there? Like, are we helping? Are we hurting? I'm just wondering as a general concept, and I'll hang up.
I think the answer is yes and no. I think we can't control social media. So I think the best thing to do is kind of lean on those who are doing it from a good place and from a professional point. I think if you lean on those people and kind of turn your back on others who aren't as ethical, nobody's going to get it right. And journalism isn't going to be fair
Right.
to victims and families all the time because sometimes the truth isn't what, sometimes the truth hurts. But the truth is what's most important. So I think the answer is yes, social media, media, big media, new media. I think it all hurts, but I think it helps because you need the attention. Without the
Yeah.
media, who's poking and speculating and putting out all this information, without them, there's no attention. So it's like a two-sided coin, I guess.
Yeah. Well, thank you for what you do, and I will say you're right about that because it's not those that have the most views and hits that are the most accurate or ethical. You and CD are the only ones I've subscribed to so far, and there's a lot of crap out there that's ridiculous.
Well, thank you,
But
Amy.
thanks again for letting me. Thanks for letting me talk, and I'll hang up and listen to the rest of the show.
Thank you, Amy. Great call. Hopefully, we can hear from you again very soon.
Yes, thanks.
Bye. Rich, you still there?
Yeah, yes, sir. I'm here.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good.
What can I do for you?
Yeah, I hope I didn't quite listen. I caught it late, so I kind of called in without hearing what you guys were talking about. But I think you guys were talking about media in regards to the Delphi case.
We were just talking about anything. Delphi case right now. We got a lot of people. My channel's dedicated a lot of time in covering that case, so we're always talking about Delphi.
Okay.
But I mean, we're open. It's an open discussion.
Okay. Well, that's definitely why I'm calling. And I'm really not a call type person, but I know that the podcast that Murder Sheet put out yesterday, had a lot of information in it. And one thing that I got frustrated with, and I kind of took some time to put my thoughts together on it, is that based on, how do I put this? I think they're mixing up, and they specifically did it. I think a lot of journalists are doing it. They're mixing up two things with as far as the lawyer thing.
Mm-hmm.
He requested not to have a lawyer, so that is a completely different situation from the documents being masked. And I think we got to make a distinction, because if we don't, it creates a situation where he looks like a victim right away, and that might be the card he plays based on his letter. Now again, I'm not behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying? But if he asks for a lawyer 4 or 5 days after that, you know what I'm saying, we have to assume that he's getting his rights. And I think that I don't know. I just want to make a comment. I think that there's a possibility that people are getting confused and thinking he's getting completely screwed over, when in reality he asked for not to have a lawyer, and that's a big deal. If he wasn't getting a lawyer, that's a big deal on top of what's already a big deal.
Yeah, it seems to be a lot of confusion, right? You have people who say he didn't request a lawyer. They say that, well, because the probable cause was sealed, that he doesn't have access. But I mean, I guarantee he's probably the first person who's seen all the evidence that was put against him. Of course, he has access to that. And I believe early on, he was the one that said, I'm going to get my own attorney. So that's on him.
That's the point. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that I'm totally against the seal of it. That's what's the crazy part. I think that's going to get enough attention, and in fact, it's going to be that alone could be what might get him off eventually if he is guilty. See what I'm saying? It could be a mistrial. I mean, what they've done already is bad enough, but then to throw in and assume that also he didn't get a lawyer, that's just a whole nother level. And I think that he could technically use that to his advantage later on. So I just want to make sure everyone knows, and I don't know the truth. I'm assuming what I'm hearing is the case, that he did not request one because he didn't want one, but he found out they were expensive and he changed his mind. So
I agree.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of a weird distinction.
Also, I don't believe that they plan to keep the probable cause sealed forever. I think they expected it once it got to another court on the 22nd, which is around the corner this month, that they eventually would release it, because you saw the chaos that happened. They
They knew.
transferred
Yes,
him
they knew.
twice. A judge recused himself. They have him on suicide watch in a monitored cell. Like there's all this crazy stuff going on. So they needed all that stuff to kind of happen for him to kind of settle.
hmm
And now, just like clockwork, he's asking for a public defender and everything's back on track.
hmm
So minus like the public
Yep.
panic and all the uneducated speculation by people like me and everybody else out there, like you got to be able to minus that out of it and look at what's really going on, you know?
Yep, I agree. And I think we live in a time and age. I think what got me worried about it is that we live in a time where if you know what I'm saying, misinformation or any information that gets kind of how can I put it? People get together quickly and make assumptions. So you know what I'm saying, it could hurt the case
Echo
if people
chamber,
think
I think
as a
is what
total.
echo chamber.
Yes,
That's the word.
good word. Yep, yep. So that's it. Just want to make a comment on that. And I thought that podcast really. I mean, I don't think they sensationalized him not having a lawyer, but I didn't think they did a good enough job making the distinction between the two issues of rights, because he requested not to have a lawyer, and that's it.
And you also made another comment. You were also comparing them holding information like the probable cause, keeping that sealed. It sounded like you were saying that that's more detrimental to the case than anything going on with what you see with the lawyer issue. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Call from.
There's all this crazy stuff going on, so they need.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2. Okay, I've sent the caller to voicemail. At any time, you may press star to join the call.
Rich, you still there?
Hey, it's Michelle, Miss
Hold
Kitty.
on. Give me a second.
I was trying to call in.
Michelle, call right
Hey.
back if you could.
I had some info on the.
He didn't say.
Rich, sorry, you still
He
there?
didn't say anything about the. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, sorry about that. If you cut out there 4 minutes, because I had somebody calling in and I couldn't get him to join on.
Okay.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. I'm just saying, yeah, I think we got a precursor to him a little bit with his letter. It was very theatrical, throw myself at the mercy of the court. If that was me, I'm just being honest. If I was me, the first thing I would say is, I'm not guilty of this. I need a public defender. Not one point did he mention that. He doesn't have a lawyer telling him to do that. That's just his own thinking. He was more worried about throwing himself at the mercy of the court. So I think my point is, I think he's the type of guy that if he is guilty, he could use these mishaps early as far as the sealed documents, which is, so I think and then if you throw in the lawyer thing and give that fire when, or you saying give that some clout when it's really not the case, he was going to use that too. That's basically my point. I think he'll use both of those. We got to separate them early, so this become like the norm that he got screwed over early by everybody. So.
All right, I agree.
Use it.
I agree with that, Rich.
All right, thanks.
Thanks
sir.
for the call.
I'll get
I
off here.
appreciate that. Bye.
No problem.
Call from.
Hello, caller. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Who do we have?
This is Miss Kitty Michelle.
Hi, Miss Kitty Michelle. What's going on?
Yeah. Well, Dr. Moselle Martin, who is a handwriting analysis, she's been touted by the interview room, but she's really cool. She's really good at her handwriting analysis, and she recently did one of Ricky.
What's
and
her
I
name?
don't know if you saw it. What?
What is her name?
Her name is Dr. Moselle Martin. Mozelle. Moselle Martin.
Thank you.
She has a YouTube channel, and it's spot on. Her handwriting. She did not know anything about Delphi or anything about the murders before this was presented to her.
Did she talk about any of the stuff she was looking for in the handwriting? Like any of the indicators or anything like that?
Yep. She had indicators for an antisocial personality, sociopathic personality. She says that she believes that he's killed before.
And if he hasn't killed before, he will kill soon.
I always felt that. I always felt like if this case ever went unsolved and people stopped talking about it, I felt like whoever did this could do it again.
Absolutely. And he also hates women. He does not like to be in the public arena, but he will just, because he has to go out with his wife or something like that. And then, he acts like a big shot sometimes. He acts like he's big and powerful, but he's abusive. And he just hates women. And he hates his wife, hates his daughter, yada, yada, yada. And she also marked a couple of little ticks in his handwriting, showed a tendency, perhaps, towards attraction to young girls.
And she's able to gather all this information just from the handwriting.
Just from the handwriting sample.
Wow.
And I believe it was his letter from prison.
Yeah, he has some really strange handwriting.
Yeah, he does. Like when the C's, they don't look like C's. They look like L's.
It's a very chaotic.
Yep. And the letters are very, very close together. The words, rather, really close together. And that was indicative of something. His T's are very tall, very straight. And those are weapons, because those are his guns. You got to see it. It's really amazing. I put a link in the chat.
I'll take a look. Dr. Moselle Martin. So I'm going to take a look at Southern Law, and then Dr. Moselle Martin. Next time we do a call-in show, I'm going to go over what I find for you guys. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it's really, you got to watch it. It's like uncanny. She for whatever reasons doesn't keep an eye on what's going on in social media. So she wasn't knowledgeable about the Delphi case, and she didn't know who the hell he was. This Ricky Allen guy.
Nobody does, really.
No, that's what she was presented with, and she had no idea that he was arrested for a double homicide. And by the way, you might want to take a look at her analysis of President Biden. It's really interesting as well.
Yeah, I'm going to check her out
She
as soon
does
as we end the call. Because we're getting ready. We're getting ready to wrap it up. So, Miss Kitty,
all
Michelle, thank you so much.
Yeah.
You said her name was Dr. Moselle Martin.
Yep, Mozelele Martin, Martin.
All right, I'll take a look. Thank you so much.
All right, hon. We'll talk to you later.
Have a good one. Bye. All right, guys, we're going to finish out the show in the chat. Going to go ahead and close down the phones. All right. Some great calls. Got Amy, Rich, and Miss Kitty. Thank you so much. Derek, good to see you. Rainy Days, hello, says handwriting can actually tell a lot about a person. Your subconscious reveals aspects of your character. Yeah, it's funny. I've always believed that because I always made sure that I made my other family members, I always made sure their names were bigger than mine. So I always knew there was something about that. I always thought maybe people subconsciously, could see that. Like if you try to write somebody's name really small and then you write your name all big and like towering over it, I always thought that meant something. Hey, USA Libertarian says, interesting that the letter was 100% laser focused on the financial burden. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he probably had his final talk with his wife, and she was like, "You're not getting any of this. You're not getting any of that. And file for divorce. Well, this, and that. You're on your own." Yeah, I'm definitely going to take a look. I appreciate that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to look into this whole handwriting aspect, and I've been looking into it. I saw a couple other people's talking about it. I just don't know. I'm going to look at some of these credentials from Dr. Mazel, and I'll see what she has to say. So we got about 3 more minutes. I had about an hour today to hang out. I'm going to be going live for members and upgraded members on Monday. Got some things I want to show you guys. Yeah, it's possible, Rain Dancer. I mean, I really don't hang out with anybody but my wife. She's really the only person I trust. Yeah, Jane, have a good weekend. Wanda, good to see you. Yeah, I'm going to go watch that one as well. Yeah, me and CD. Yeah. Sometimes we forget anybody's even there. We just start going off. Take care, Glitter. Yeah, Freckle, that is, I don't know if it's odd, but for me, it was just something that I grew out of. It's very random. Every once, I have a lot of friends that I reach out to, and they'll show up to events. Like if I was like, hey, I'm throwing a get together, and I sent out invites, yeah, it'd be nice to see some old friends or whatever. But, I don't go out with the boys. I don't go out anywhere. Only time I go out is on date night, and it's fucking fun. Let's close down that pool before we head out. See how you guys are doing. Okay, so I asked, how is your Saturday going so far? 65% thankfully said wonderful. Thanks. How about you? I appreciate that, guys. My Saturday is going wonderful also. 25% said it could be better. 7% said don't ask. 1% absolute worst. Sorry to hear that, guys. Hang in there to get better. All right. Well, I'm going to head out, guys. I really appreciate you all for hanging out, putting in your 2 cents, letting me know what was going on out there on the streets. All you callers, Amy, Rich, Miss Kitty, you guys rock. Thank you so much. Until next time, thank you.